of Education regular meeting to order. Everyone will please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moving into roll call, let the record reflect all board members are present. Moving into the approval of the agenda. May I have a first? First by David, discussion and questions. May I have a second? Second by Jamie, all in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Moving into our spotlight report. It's on here, but I don't know what it is.
We do not have a spotlight.
Okay.
Members not called.
That's okay. Moving into our audience of citizens, and we have none. All right, moving into our principals report. Let's start with our elementary school.
Good evening, everyone. Just a couple of quick things from the elementary school. We did wrap up our map testing window for the fall. You got the table there in front of you. A couple areas to highlight that were really exciting for us was our beginning of the year second grade reading compared to years past, as well as third grade math. Those are some big leaps from going back 2 years ago. I think we're probably getting close to where we can stop talking about the pandemic, but for me, that's kind of that last ditch, seeing ourselves climb out of it. Fourth grade reading, I'm sure you looked at that and might have raised your eyebrow. It did mine as well. We're digging into that to try to see what's going on. Something that potentially might be happening with that particular grade level is we did adopt that new reading curriculum last year, and the rigor is up. It's a lot more difficult. And so I think our students are still kind of adjusting through that, because our current fourth graders, they would have been our third graders last year, and the reading rigor for them was quite a lot as well. So that's something we'll continue to monitor. We'll work with our teachers in our PLCs. And then the other thing I want to point out is we did our first ever All-Pro Dads. I had given Katie Nicky, our Chris, a space to use in our building. Actually, it was in one of our trailer spaces, and she comes to me and she says, "Hey, Luke, I got 40 people right now." It's like, "Oh, well, that's great, but I don't know. Trailer's kind of a tight squeeze for that." And then a couple days later, she's like, "We're at 55." I'm like, "Oh, we need to come up with another plan." And when all the dust settled, we ended up having almost a little over 70 people, 30 dads or dad figures that came with their children. It was a great hit. We ended up having to kind of partition our gym in half and have our car drop-offs and kind of all the kids before we released the classes. We kept them in front of the gym and did our best to keep them quiet so that they could do the program behind the halfway curtain. But I think that's just a testament to our community. I love seeing dads and dad figures get involved in these kids' life. I mean, statistic after statistic shows the positive correlations that come along with that. So she's not here, but big hats off to Katie Baker for putting that together. And it was a fantastic first event. I look forward to it and growing as time goes on. So that's kind of it for elementary school. Any questions? Yes.
So I was just curious how you thought the fall festival went.
I loved it. The feedback I got from the fall festival was really good. The games I heard were, I had multiple people saying, "Hey, these were the best games we ever had." They liked the free aspect of it, other than the food stuff. I like that. I like the feel of it being a community event. Like, let's celebrate, Walton Rona and being together, as opposed to let's come together and try to, squeeze the sponge and see what we can get. So I thought it was a fantastic event. PTA did an absolute awesome job. Nikki is my PTA president. She did fantastic with it. All the feedback I have gotten has been very positive on that. And you were there, so what were your thoughts?
I'll be honest, I missed my raffle baskets.
Yeah, they create a rental situation.
I'm sure
so
they
that's
do.
the challenge, and you're not alone in that. There are other people that miss that
Yeah.
as well, but that's great.
But it was busy as always.
It was packed. It was fantastic. We had a beautiful night.
Yes, it was really, really good night.
You?
Thank you. Right, moving into our middle school.
Good evening. I have mapped out for you. This first chart is one you've seen before. This compares the same group of students from fall of last school year to fall of this year. And on this chart, basically, you've got the overall RIT scores in the first column from the fall of 22, and then the average RIT score for the fall of 23. And all of our fall RIT scores are above the national norm rate for fall, so that's a positive note in the fall scores. You can also see 6 out of 8 are meeting or exceeding the expected growth for beginning or from fall to fall. So we like to look at that 1 year's worth. On the right, I have given you our free reduced lunch population, because that's one of our subgroups in our special education, but I also added in our RTI programs growth. And I was excited to see in some of those areas, we are actually doubling, or close to doubling what the growth should be for a year. And you've got your struggling students, seeing double the expected growth. And growth is nice, but you've got students that are already below grade level. And you see, like 8th grade reading, they should have had expected growth of 3.8 grit points. And the average for our RTI reading was 11.5. So that's like triple. That's pretty amazing. But just seeing some of those scores are almost double the expected growth is good to see, because those are some of our struggling students. Below you see the spring to fall, and again, the spring to fall growth is expected to be negative with the summer. And for the most part, we were pretty good there. 2 of the 3 that we missed were close. And, the one that's a little bit higher is been doing it 4 weeks in the last 2 years as they have recommended. So that's something we'll definitely keep an eye on, those overall RIT scores and what's expected. I also gave you the individual pages there. I'm not sure if we have this pulled up. There were separate spreadsheets, but I wanted you at least to see these, because this breaks down the predictor that NWEA has for math on predicting Kentucky Summit assessment scores. So if you remember, right, as we were going through and coming out of the pandemic, there were huge sections of students, especially in math, caught in that apprentice area. And I think these first set of math scores show that, we're getting back to more where we should be, because we're also seeing not only our novice drop, but I talked about, when you get about 10% or below novice, that's a pretty good target to shoot for. And overall, we have a very good, this is 5th grade. So 10.2% novice for reading, 7.1% novice for math. Pretty happy with those, especially on the math side, because if you remember, we were sometimes in the 20s there, and then our apprentice was in the 50s, 60s, and even close to 70% as we were going through and coming out of the pandemic. So at least these fall scores show a nice little rebound. And I just kind of wanted to point that out in each grade level, but you also see some of the initial good points in some of our subgroups, including special education. That's one we've still got some work to do, but these initial math scores here are showing some positive gains, because it's not been too long since we were struggling just to get some proficient distinguished students. You see, even here in math, having 37.5% of our special ed students in this particular grade level, which is 6th grade, is a nice step in the right direction. And we've got the advantage of only having, in that tier grade level, 16 students, and 6 out of the 16 were scoring proficient or distinguished. We were looking at groups that were having maybe 1 or 2, and some areas that were having none. So some steps in the right direction. Happy to see some of this, but we'll continue to look at that as we get into winter and spring. But and you can see is a little bit with the older kids, even we're seeing this is 7th grade, the novice right at or just below 30%. And we're seeing that apprentice group shrink down now. So, and that's all based off of the most recent NWEA study, which was 2020. I can't remember. One before was 2015. So, but there's our math data for fall, and some encouraging signs there. Still some things to look at, but seems to be starting to rebound. Starting to see some numbers, at least with this round of math, in some of those subgroups that are positive. The only other thing I had in the board report was just noting our poster contest winners from Old Fashioned Ed. And then just a quick recap of our Bearcat Spirit Day that we had right before fall break, which we're very happy the weather held out because earlier in the week we were short. Questions? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving right into our high school.
I feel like every week is long. It's long.
And you don't want to take the shoes.
I don't have much for you tonight, board members. We had our ACT, a busy week. We had 76 seniors retake an ACT on Tuesday. KDE, second year in a row, has offered the seniors a free ACT to take. So we had 76 seniors take that. As the other two schools talked about map data, we too have dipped our toes into the map data pool. We are giving the English, reading just finished up, and we have the first day of math today. Different animal for us to wrap our head around. It's anything grade specific at a high school is incredibly hard to challenge or to schedule, because if you say 9th grader taking this, you have 10, 11, and 12 waiting in the wings. And outside of like English and health, all our classes are 9 through 12. So we're working on a schedule with that, whether they're doing the schedule or taking the test. Once we have the data, we'll be able to share that. But that's going to be used as some monitoring for our RTI program and teacher-focused instruction. So I'll be interested to see what those numbers come back and look like. As you've probably heard, the KSA data is going to be released November 1st. So the next time we meet, we'll have a detailed report on that. We are at homecoming week. We have the game tomorrow, being Saturday. It's the Spirit Week. In the upcoming dates, very upcoming, as in tomorrow, we have our college and career fair. So I highlighted career because this is the first time we've done that. I forget the name of the organization, but in the past we've used a national college rep recruiter organization to schedule our career fair. And when you do that, there's certain rules about who you can and cannot invite. So under the gas of that organization, it has to be colleges only and military. So what Mrs. Hester's done is over the past few years is she's kind of curated her own Rolodex of contacts, so we were able to schedule this career fair directly with the reps, so we didn't have to abide by all the restrictions. So we were able to now include a career aspect of the day. So I'm excited for that. That's going to be a good exposure for the kids in our local business community. We've got the pep rally tomorrow right after the college fair, doing something new. We're doing a homecoming parade. We are using shopping carts to make our floats, and they're going to be around the gym. So something different, trying to get the kids to buy into that. We've got the dance. We also live at 25. We're going to have band and concerts, choir concerts. We've got some trips involving the arts. And then on the bottom one there, November 15th, we have the Northern Kentucky Regional High School Career Fair. And it's moved dates, moved locations. This is a big one, big career fair for all the schools in Northern Kentucky. One that we weren't, for whatever reason, we had not been invited invited to before. Thanks to one of our site-based parents at the high school, got us the contact and the name for that. So now we are officially on the list and we can take our kids to that. So I'm excited to add that.
So will every student get to that regional high school? Every
They open it.
senior?
They open it up to seniors, I believe, that want to go. They had a list of all the companies that were going to be there. You know, it's all countless employers in the area. So we're taking a good number to that. Used to be at the Northern Kentucky Convention Center. I think they moved it out Turfway now. So yeah, it's our first year, but I'm excited to be
And I saw, I think it was during Flex, something was being offered for making the most of your college and career fair. I was just curious, how well was that particular one attended?
It's getting better. Working with teenage youth is challenging at best. They are not the most motivated, self-motivated group of students. So we used to like drag all the juniors down there and make them, you know, everybody goes and sits. And the kids were very polite, very, you know, well behaved, but it forced. So now we've opened that up to a volunteer to try to get that to the groups that want it. Last year, the attendance was pretty low. Our guidance department put together the old-fashioned like subway punch card. So if they attend 10 events, 12 events, they get the punch, their name goes in the hat. I think the first prize they're giving away is big screen TV. Just trying to get them more, we have to entice them. So our college and career visits have gone up in attendance a lot. So we are working on that. And yeah, I think the numbers of those events have gone up nicely. So, anybody else? Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Okay.
Board members, as you'll see in your packet, we did have 4 students move that were enrolled in our bridge program. That is not unusual. The students that tend to be in the bridge program have a high rate of mobility, but we have some students that are on their way to the bridge. There were 3 behavior hearings this week. I've signed off on 2 of those recommendations. But we continue to have good enrollment at the bridge program. And those students are continuing to progress. I think there were 3 students who already have taken credits this year. So things continue to go well at the bridge. Thanks to Mr. Hartman and the staff at the bridge.
Okay, moving into our attendance and enrollment.
Also, board members, you'll see that in your packet as well. We have more students enrolled now than at the start of the year, but less than at the end of month 1. Just a slight dip there of 5 students. But I'm very pleased to report that our attendance continues to be strong as we kind of get into into the allergy and flu season. So being above 95 and 96% at the middle school is commendable. So I believe the trophy is being passed, Mr. Patterson, to Mr. Morwessel, congratulations, middle school. So we're pleased the attendance continues to be strong.
All right, moving into our construction report. Did everyone get a chance to review that and look at it? And if anyone has any questions?
There was just a credit in there somewhere. Make it. Nice thing to say, George.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You graduated like 2,000 something ahead. That's even after you get this big practice field, which is 49,000. Doing really well.
Yeah.
It's usually where we get a lot of mistakes is the ground road.
Yeah.
They're going up. Eat into that, so far so good.
Nice to see.
Anyone Thank you for that report. Moving into our superintendent non-work days, did everyone get a chance to review that? Moving into personnel, everyone have an opportunity to look at that? Moving into other?
Board members, I just had one thing. We discussed recently the potential for purchasing 2 buses for next year, a regular bus and I'll say, special needs / preschool bus. KDE is behind on that process. That's the reason it's not on the agenda tonight. We received notification last week that they're about a month behind, so you may see that on the November agenda. Having said that, the bus we purchased last year was ordered on October the 21st, 2022, and we still don't have it. So when we get the information from KDE, we'll certainly share that with you, and you may see it.
All right, does anyone else have anything? So just want to notate for the record, we are going into executive session at the end of the agenda. So after the approval is done to enter into executive session, the video then will be turned off and the video will not be turned back on just for adjournment, just so that's on the record. All right, now we'll move into recommended board motions. First, I have the approval of the minutes for September 28th, 2023 regular meeting. May I have a first? First by Jamie, discussion or questions? May I have a second? Second by Aubrey, all in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Moving into the approval of the minutes, October 5th, 2023 working meeting. May I have a first? First by David, discussion or questions? May I have a second? Second by Jamie, all in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Moving into the approval of superintendent's expense report, may I have a first? First by Jamie, discussion or questions? May I have a second? Second by Aubrey. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Moving into the approval of pay application 9, Walton Verona Intermediate School, may I have a first? First by David, discussion or questions? May I have a second?
I'll make it.
Second by Megan. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Moving into the approval of change order 4, Walton Verona Intermediate School. May I have a first? First by Jamie. Discussion or questions? May I have a second? Second by Aubrey. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Moving into the approval of the FY24 KETS offer of assistance. May I have a first?
I'll make it.
First by Megan. Discussion or questions? May I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by David. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Moving into the approval of the treasurer's report. May I have a first? First by Jamie. Discussion or questions? May I have a second? Second by Aubrey. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Moving into the approval of the treasurer, I think I just did that one, sorry. Moving into the approval of the orders of the treasurer, the bills. May I have a first?
I'll make it.
First by David, discussion or questions? May I have a second?
I'll make it.
Second by Megan. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Moving into the approval of the field trips. May I have a first? First by Jamie. Discussion or questions? May I have a second? Second by Aubrey. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Moving into the approval to enter into executive session pursuant of KRS 61.81 1E, KRS 156.556C, Preliminary discussion related to the evaluation of the superintendent. May I have a first? First by David, discussion or questions? May I have a second? Second by Jamie, all in favor? Motion passes 5-0. We are in executive session.